channel. My name is Thomas, and this is the election tribe. So, on this channel, we are going to be going over every presidential election, and then after that, we might go into the Senate and House and all of that good stuff. But so far today, we are just going to start off with presidential elections. So, I have printed out a map of the United States here. However, you're only going to be using these 13 or so states, minus Maryland and Vermont. Or not Maryland, I mean Maine and Vermont. And I am using a chameleon color changing detail fine liner, and I'm specifically going to be using the 0.4 milliliter. So I'm going to uncap that and have that there. And then I'm also going to be using the chameleon color changing marker in the BG4 color aquamarine, and I'm going to be using the bullet tip. So let's go ahead and get started. So in this election, our two candidates, or rather one candidate, is George Washington. And my laptop just went crazy. And he's going to be running under the Federalist Party. And this is the election of 1789. And he's running against no one. So, there we go. Now, just to give you a little bit of background as to what's going on during this time period, the Revolutionary War ended in 1783. So it's been 6 years, and this is the first presidential election. However, I do believe George Washington was acting as the leader. Don't count me on that, though. By the way, as my source, I will be using, let me write that down here. Source is 270twin.com. Now this website is very good for making your own forecasts and stuff of elections, and you can, as a bonus, you can also see every presidential election in history. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to start down here in Georgia. I'm just going to quickly outline Georgia with my fine liner. And during this time period, Georgia had 5 electoral college votes, which means they had 3 representatives and 2 senators. And basically electoral votes, or how many your state would get, is determined by how many senators you get and how many representatives you get. So, a quick way to do that is just take the number of votes you get and subtract 2 from it, and that will give you your reps. Oops. Next, we have the state of South Carolina. South Carolina had 7 electoral college votes. So 7 minus 2 is 5. So South Carolina would have 5 representatives in the House of Representatives. Now, next we have North Carolina. Now, I don't know why this is, but North Carolina had 0 electoral college votes. So, I'm just going to leave it I'm just going to kind of do a little pattern like this, because yes, they were a state at this time, but for some reason, they didn't have anything to do with this election. I don't know why. Google it. So next we're going to do West Virginia, and I'm going to also include West Virginia in this. I wish I would have done that earlier. because, as you'll remember, Virginia and West Virginia were Virginia, but then in the Civil War, they split up because Virginia wanted to keep slavery, and West Virginia, which is mountainous because of the Appalachian Mountains, they didn't really have a need for farming or slavery, so they were like, nope, we don't need that, and they said, we're going to break free. And that's what they did. So, combined, they get 10. Now, this is my theory. You're going to see that a lot of southern states don't have as many electoral college votes as the northern states. And now, what my theory for that is because of a compromise called the 3/5 compromise, which basically said that anyone who was in slavery at the time would be counted as 3/5 of a person. And to me, that is completely disrespectful because all people should be treated equally, and that is not being treated equally. And that's basically the whole thing about slavery, and it was just a terrible thing. And yes, it was one of the worst things that we've ever done in American history, but it is important that we talk about it and understand why it was so bad. So that's why I'm bringing it up, because it was a bad thing and it should never ever happen again to anyone. So I'm going to color in Maryland now with their 6 electoral college votes. And let me get back to my theory really quick. So basically, your representatives are determined by your population. So if you really want to think about it with the 3/5 compromise, also Delaware has 3 and they voted for George Washington. It's kind of the only person they can vote for. Basically, under the 3/5 compromise, if you have 5 slaves, basically only 3 of them would be counted as people. You would only have 3 slaves according to the government, which is a little bit weird. But basically, what my theory is, they went by that. So you're going to see that in these southern states, the states that use slavery, they're going to have less people. But technically, if you want to not account for the 3/5 compromise, they would have more people. Which is why we're going to see the northern states that don't have slavery are going to have more. And this is probably going to last up until, like, Lincoln and all of that and the Civil War and stuff ends. So that's just my little theory. I just wanted to share with it. Don't at all take that as the truth, because I don't know. That is just what I think. And honestly, if you know, leave it down in the comments, because I'm honestly curious now. Because, yeah. So now you see how Pennsylvania has 10. Next, we're going to move on to New York. For some reason, I keep wanting to call New York Kentucky. And New York gets 0. And then I'm just going to do that same pattern that I did for North Carolina, with little cross hatching, I think it's called. And there we go. Next, we're going to move on to Connecticut. Connecticut had 7 votes, so they would have 5 senators, or 5 representatives, I mean. Next, we have Rhode Island, who had 0, so I'm just going to make a little X there. And now we have Massachusetts, which is kind of hard to outline because of all the little islands and Cape Cod and stuff they have. But they have 10. Okay. Now we are going to do New Hampshire. Now at this time, Vermont was not a state, and Maine was considered a part of Massachusetts. So, I mean, I guess I probably could go ahead and include, I guess I could add Maine to this, because the map from 270towin.com, it doesn't really take in consideration how everything looked back then. It just uses basically a map from today, modern day, present day, and puts all the numbers in for it. So I'm just going to make a little note here that says part of MA, which is Massachusetts abbreviation. Okay, and that is going to be it. Now, if we want to add all of these totals up, George Washington gets 69 to no one's 0. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Honestly, these are really relaxing to me because I like coloring, so I'm probably going to make a couple more today, and then I might take a break. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have enjoyed this, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, also like and share, and thanks for watching, and have a good day. Bye!